is from emotional intelligence. I spoke about this earlier as well in one of my earlier videos. It is from emotional intelligence. The book is written by Dr. Daniel Goleman, amazing, amazing person. If you find on YouTube, you'll find numerous videos, multiple videos, and I'll try and bring these videos also to you multiple in the upcoming sessions. Now, if I have to put the definition of emotions in the most simple manner, and I think Chandra, you brought this up earlier, emotions are the communication that your mind is sending to your body. It's the communication between your brain and your body, and this communication is extremely essential. Okay, so my next question is, why are emotions important? So simple answers to this question can be: one, it really makes us human. This is one big difference between many animals and us. Now, there are a lot of mammals who also have the developed brain, not just the primitive brain. They also have, most mammals have the developed brain as well, but human beings have a more developed emotional brain as well. Okay, so first, it makes us human. So emotions are extremely essential. That means we should never run away from emotions, never shy away from emotions. It's extremely critical for us. It's extremely important for us. Now, emotions also help us to have a flight or fight response. So when we have these emotions, we are able to understand whether I should stay in this circumstance, whether I should stick to this situation and I should fight, or whether I should run away. Okay. So for example, fear is going to keep me safe. The emotion of fear is going to keep me safe. Whenever I am in a, let's say there is a danger zone, or there is fire, or there is some sharp object, the fear of getting hurt will keep me safe. It will ensure that I am cautious. That's the purpose, or that's the use of the emotion fear. Sorrow, in fact, or sadness, in fact, is one of the most important emotions, which unfortunately not many of us give importance to. The highest importance that we give to is the emotion of happiness. We all want to be only happy all the time. But the emotion of sadness actually has a very vital purpose to it. One, it keeps you healthy because you are able to remove all the pent up emotions outside. Second, it also helps you analyze what happened in the past, structure your emotional memory appropriately, and make new memories in your emotional brain to remember that this is a situation I did not like, this is a situation that did not make me feel good about things, and so I will be cautious, or I'll take care from here on. Anger, again, is a very critical emotion. It actually helps you release all the negative toxins from your body, if you know that or not. So pent up anger is the worst for your health, your mental and your physical health. Pent up anger is extremely bad, extremely bad. So it's extremely essential for you to get it out of your system. So anger is basically an emotion that is telling you to release something, to, let go of something. That's what anger is doing. It's actually pushing you to let go of something, to release an emotion, or to release all that pent up that you have. Is it important to express our emotion? And if yes, then why is it important to express an emotion? So if you remember in my last live also, while I was speaking about empathy, I spoke about this Coke example, that if you do not open the cap of the Coke and you keep shaking it, so the fizz inside is going to multiply, and sooner or later it's going to blast the bottle, right? The same thing happens with our body. When we do not express any emotion, for that matter, it's not just negative or sorrow or sad emotions, not that only. Any emotion, if you don't express it, it harms your body internally, it harms your mental well-being, it harms your relationship, it impacts your decision making, it impacts your ability to analyze. Everything kind of gets impacted. So expressing an emotion is extremely essential. Pent up emotions will do more harm than good to anybody whatsoever. Some emotions, like I said, also have the sole purpose of these emotions is to actually vent out all that is pent up, all the built up that you have within yourself, and make you feel light. So many of you may have feel this surge of an emotion or urge of just speaking out something, blurting out something, and the moment you do that, you're kind of calmer, you feel lighter, right? So each emotion has a purpose. So that's how the mind is communicating with the body, that throw this out. So when you're angry, for example, The emotion is telling you that whatever you have within yourself, whatever is running in your head right now, please speak up. Please communicate it to somebody. That's what the indication is from the brain to your body, right? So that's the purpose of that emotion. So emotional expression in a nutshell is extremely important. Now, it's extremely essential then for us to observe our own emotions. That's the first step of becoming emotionally mature and working towards an emotional well-being. So we need to understand what are the emotions that, what is that emotion that you struggle with the most, and what are the triggers? Have you observed it? What makes you, let's say, happy, or makes you angry, or makes you extremely grateful towards somebody? What are those emotions? What aggravates this? Okay, what aggravates this emotion? So what are the triggers? What aggravates it? How does it impact you? What happens to your body? What happens to your surroundings? What happens to your mental well-being? What happens to your peace of mind? Have you seen yourself kind of going into a shell after this, or not talking to somebody when that emotion takes over? What does it do to you, right? And how does it impact your environment as well? We are talking about listen to your own emotions, identify and observe what triggers it. What is triggering that particular emotion? Identify how does it impact you mentally and physically. How does it impact your environment, so people around you, your relationships, all of that. And what aggravates? These are some questions that you want to answer to understand this particular emotion of yours better. So in my mind, the first step to managing emotions is to accept, be aware. I get angry at these situations. These are my trigger points. This aggravates it. This is what it does to my body. This is what it does to my mind. This is what it does to my emotional well-being. This is how it impacts my environment. Okay. So awareness about all these things. That's your first step. The second step is acceptance. Accepting that this is your struggle. When you accept, that is when you will be able to move to the third step, which is to be able to communicate and seek help. Okay. So in my case, for example, for my example that I gave, I communicated this to my family members, and I'll tell you this happened pretty recently, where I identified that I struggle a lot with being angry, and my body kind of shuns it. We had a very interesting situation at home where a maid was being a housemaid was being extremely rude and condescending and everything. She was being extremely harsh, extremely rude to me for no reason. Probably she was going through something, is what I could assess, and she was showing, or she was venting out all those emotions and all that anger at my place. Now that was disturbing me a lot, because I cannot, it just can't, doesn't come naturally to me to shun somebody down, or to shout at somebody, or to be angry at somebody. So it was kind of impacting me a lot. And there did come a time when I kind of just paused, and I broke out and I said that, okay, look, everything said and done, I can accept all mistakes, I can do everything, but I cannot accept this kind of an environment in my house. This is troubling for me. And anything that troubles me, this is my mantra of managing stress. Anything that troubles me, anything that increases stress for me, goes out of my mind, goes out of my life, goes out of my entire entity. It doesn't have to be around me at all. So that's my method of managing stress. So that is when I realized that I'm not good at, but the moment I had that conversation, actually after that I felt sick. I had an asthma attack, I had fever, and I was shivering, and I had extremely bad response from my body. And that's when I realized that anger is not an emotion I can handle very well. So I should avoid being angry as much as I can. And that's when I accepted it, I was aware, I accepted it, that it's not an emotion that I can handle very well. I'm not good at it, and I'm not going to kill myself to get good at it. So I communicated. Who do I communicate it to? I communicated this with my family. I communicated it to my son, my husband. I spoke to them and I told them, these kind of situations, please don't want, I don't want you to tell me to handle. So step up. You guys are better in handling anger or communicating when you're angry. I am not better communicating when I'm angry, so I'm not going to do this. I want your help in this particular situation. So that's what helped me. Another tip that I have for each one of us to avoid snapping, to avoid being reactive, is to pause. And an easier way to pause is to be slow at everything. Don't rush in doing everything. A lot of us live a very speedy life. I did at a point of time. And when you are very fast in everything that you're doing, be it in talking to people, be it in organize something or anything, any activity that you're doing where you are very fast, you are paying lesser and lesser attention to your emotions then. And the lesser attention you pay to your emotions, the more probability of you snapping, the more probability of you being reactive. So be more observant, slow down, um, calm down, calm down your emotions. And if you feel that you're kind of getting jittery, you're kind of getting, hyper, sit down at a particular place, take a beautiful deep breath, and then leave it out. Take another deep breath and leave it out. That's the easiest way to calm yourself down. Why does it help you calm down? Is because two things. One, it increases the flow of oxygen into your head, so your brain starts getting more flow of blood as well, and it starts acting more responsibly. And second is your focus shifts from that emotion to your breath. And so those are the two reasons why you kind of calm down. Okay, there is an entire concept in neuroscience on why this snapping actually happens. And again, you can watch it on the videos of Dr. Daniel Goleman about emotional intelligence. There is a structure in our brain which is called amygdala. It's an almond-shaped structure, and this amygdala is capable of hijacking your entire brain with emotions. Now, this amygdala is the culprit behind all your emotional outbursts. This is the culprit behind all your snapping, all your moments when you did something, you said something, and then immediately after a few seconds, a few minutes, you said, oops, I should not have said that. Oops, I shouldn't have done that, And my favorite quote in that context is, if only second, life would be such a beautiful place, wouldn't it? Right? So pause, go slow. Know that there is an amygdala back there. You have the ability to manage it. You can manage it. Let me give you an example. Let's say you are driving on the road. Okay, who comes and bang, bangs your car from the side. You get out extremely angry, and that person also opens the door of their car, and they come out, and you see that this person is a petite little short little person. So by physical appearance, your brain tells you that this is a person you can take control of. This is a person you can show your strength to. So your voice increases, you become more stronger, you appear to become more stronger, and you kind of thrash this person verbally. Verbal abuse happens there. Okay, let's replay this entire experience. Again, the car bang happens, you open the car, you come out, that other person opens the car, and now you see some 6 feet 5 inches 4 inches tall, great build, a bouncer kind of a looking person comes out of that car. What would be your response? Does it change? It does. It absolutely changes. You may just speak about it, or you may not, and you may walk away. So your mind has that ability to alter your emotions depending on your circumstances. So your mind was about to hijack, your amygdala was about to hijack your emotions, but there was one small level of emotional data point that your thinking brain sent to you, saying that this person can beat you up. Right? And that helped you make the right decision of not venting out, of not doing a verbal abuse there. Okay, another example in the same situation, bang happens, you open the door extremely angry, you go and you open the door of the other person as well, and now you see it's your boss sitting there. Your entire emotion is going to change, guys. Everything is going to change. Or let's say your colleague also, like, what's wrong with you? If it's your colleague, you say, what's wrong with you? How do you drive them? Right? Or if it's your boss, sir, you, nice to see you, sir. Right? Your entire emotional stability at that time changes, it shifts. So this is proof that your brain has the ability, all of us has the ability to change my response to the same situation. It's just about that tiny little data point. It's just about being a little more observant, a little more tactical, a little more careful about what you're doing, what you're speaking, how you're speaking, and where you're going with that, right? So those are some things that I would recommend. Be aware of your emotions. What are triggering these? What are increasing these? What are aggravating it? How does it impact your body, your mind? Sorry, I have a little cold there. So your body, your mind, your environment, how does it impact? Be aware of that. Number two, accept it, that yes, this is an emotion that you're struggling with, so accept it. Don't go overboard, just accept it and do as much as you can. Once you accept, communicate and seek help. Let people know, people who you can trust, people who are around you who can help you manage these emotions better. So communicate and seek help. And finally, go slow and pause at every moment, right? Pause more, go slow more, be more observant. That will help you send that tiny little data point to your thinking brain, from your thinking brain to your decision making brain, when there is an emotional hijack done by the amygdala, which I said is an almond structure in our brain. I'll do a quick recap of what we have spoken throughout. We spoke about defining emotions. One is that emotions are these feelings that tell us our response to a particular situation or circumstance. It tells us whether we should fight or we should flight. It helps us make decisions. It helps us navigate through the situation as well. Neurologically, I told you it's like communicating between these different parts of the brain. And in simple words, it is the communication between your mind and your body. So your mind is telling your body what exact action you should take. They are extremely important because they make us human, and these are signals that helps us to decide what do we want to do next, and it helps us keep balanced mentally. Okay, and there is no one single best emotion. Every emotion has a purpose to it, has a certain use of it. So make use of that emotion. Do not try to avoid any emotion. If you're feeling sad, if you feel like crying, please sit down and cry. It is okay to do that. Someone who cries is not emotionally weak. That person knows how to manage their emotion better. Okay. Emotional expression, again, extremely essential, very important for you. Don't hold your emotions inside, vent it out. If it is crying or it is by talking to somebody, do that. Very essential. If you don't know what else to do, and anger is an emotion that you have, and you have a habit of kind of shouting out and all that, please buy a sandbag and keep boxing into it, or box yourself into a pillow if you need to. That's a good way of venting out your anger without hurting somebody else, without harming somebody else. And some steps that we spoke about on what you can do: listen to your emotions, understand your emotions better, observe, listen to what they're telling you to do, identify what is triggering a particular emotion that probably you're struggling with, what aggravates it, how does it impact your body, mind, and your environment, and some things that you can do to manage your emotions better. Awareness, know what your emotions are and what impacts them. Two, accept them. Don't fight them away. Accept every emotion that you have around you at that particular moment. And then communicate. If you have a downside, or if you're struggling with a particular emotion, communicate and seek help. And finally, be slow. Pause a little more so that you can be more observant about your emotions. Right? So that's what I had for today for all of you about understanding emotions. I hope this made sense, and I hope you learned something new. See you guys. Bye bye. Take care.